off the call now and get things going. So for those who are new, I'm also going to give you guys a welcome, and for those who are always here every single week, I want to welcome you guys as well. A quick about us for those who don't know us. So we're the A team. The why behind what we're doing right now is that we are literally about establishing a global network of the ambitious and financially blessed. The how, the mission behind what we're doing is that we identify, nurture, and integrate current and aspiring high performers into our network of online bread farmers. And by online bread farmers, I'm talking about people that go online, they sow their seeds to make bread, mullah, yen, franc, Elizabeth, whatever you want to call her, money, basically. As well as that, our members, we are a family of ambitious internet entrepreneurs on a mission to know ourselves, clarify the vision, and of course, make it real. Now, our core values are as follows: ambition, gratitude, self-awareness, perseverance, continuous learning, eclecticism, and impact. Now, every single one of you would have had to show one of these traits to be invited into the call. If I invited you, then well done. If someone else from the calls or the A team invited you, then that shows that you guys are emitting some good traits. So congratulations on that. A quick about the A team. So the A in the A team stands for active, and that's active commitment to day inspires victory every day. And as well as that, we affirm, we commit, we test, we iterate, we validate, and then we execute on our plans to make it real. A link in a chat right now. So if you're interested in joining a book club where we share all things mindset, business, and money for current and aspiring high performers, then you can click the link on the chat and you can access that, and we'll give you updates on all the top reads about mindset, business, and money on a monthly basis. And if you guys are interested, we'll have Zoom calls where we kind of discuss it as well. So we're working on getting that going for everyone that's going to be a part of the community. So as well as that, so the link should be in the chat, guys, so make sure you check that. And as well as that, guys, if you want to join the A team, want to know more about what we're about, etc., like the gains or what you're going to have. If you want to join the A team, then by all means, please email at admin@karun.com, and Layla will handle your inquiries for you. So the subject line should be join the A team, and then Layla will handle this. Now, guys, I just want you guys to help me out by blocking all what we're talking about today. So Emmanuel has kindly arranged a gift for you guys. So for those that stay to the end, you'll get a discount code for Noir Excel's up taking place this Saturday on the 1st of June. For my recollection, the time is 11:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. and the location is in London. So if you guys are in London this Saturday and you want to attend one of these events, or if you after this call you realize there's something that you want to follow up on, then please by all means stay to the end so you can get the discount code for the event. Now, those who are new to this A call, we do it on a weekly basis. Everyone should know that the people that are here every week should know that I always start these calls with a quote or a story. And today's quote is, "You cannot change your destination overnight, but you can change your direction right now." And that quote is from a guy called Jim Rohn. And it's quite self-explanatory, but because this talk, we're going to be talking about finances, etc. Some of us, I know for a fact, when I started out on this journey, my financial direction was backwards, but I made a decision to change that. And that decision was instant. So everything else was just me learning how to do things, me getting the right information. And this, obviously, this is why you guys are on a call today. So without further ado, I'm going to, Emmanuel, let me know if you're unmuted, if you can hear you.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, perfect. Thank you very much. So before I get you to kind of jump in, I just want to introduce Emmanuel to those who don't know him. So Emmanuel Asuquo, he's the director of Noir Excel, a financial education company that helps clients reach their financial goals. He has 10 years experience as a financial advisor and wealth manager for high net worth individuals. And as well as that, he's a highly sought after public speaker with numerous guest appearances at the BBC. So without further ado, Emmanuel, thank you for jumping on the call, man. How you been?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Thank you for that lovely introduction. How are you? You okay?
No worries, man. I'm great. Again, guys, so the reason why I've muted before I address you, Emmanuel, guys, the reason why I've muted you guys so the audio is nice and so we can hear everything perfectly fine. There will be a moment for a Q&A. So you guys will be muted for now, but if you have any questions during the call, etc., either you save them and at the end I'll unmute you. You can ask your question, or if you want to ask your question that you don't want to talk, just put it in a chat and then I'll ask your question for you. Is that okay? Let me know if you guys are good at that. You can put that in the chat, give me a thumbs up or yeah, and then we can carry on. But yeah, Emmanuel, man, so how's your day been?
Yeah, it's been good, man. Busy as always. You know, I've got the seminar on Saturday, so just preparing for that, getting the last minute things done and so forth. So yeah, it's all going good. Can't complain. What about you?
Yeah, it's been good, man. The weather's been nice. I've been trying to get a tan. I don't think I need a tan, but I've been out there.
I hear you. I hear you. I hear you.
Okay, that's great. So how this works on a normal basis for people that are not here on a normal basis with that, we're just gonna have a nice conversation with me and Emmanuel, and we'll discuss a few things around the topic of finance and building wealth and optimizing your finances, your existing finances. So before I get into that, Emmanuel, I thought it would be great to kind of like just allow you to just share your background story for now. So who's Emmanuel Asuquo? How did you start? Just give us a bit of a background about yourself.
Sure, no problem. I can do that, definitely. So basically, I'm Emmanuel Asuquo, financial advisor. Been doing it for 12 years now. So how did I start? So I grew up in East London, Tower Hamlets. Went to Bow Boys School, Leighton Sixth Form College, and went to uni at Greenwich. Studied accounting and finance. Whilst I studied my degree at accounting and finance, I worked part-time in Barclays as a cashier. And then what I did was, once I finished my degree, Barclays then allowed me to become a financial advisor. So I've been doing it since I was age 22. I'm 34 now, so that's the 12 years. So yeah, it's been a hard journey. It's been long. I had to learn a lot, develop. Obviously, my peers were all well older than me. When I started at 22, the average age of the financial advisor was 52, and now it's going up closer to 60. The average age is quite an old industry, as you can imagine. So I've had to learn a lot. Especially when you want to give someone financial advice, they're going to look at you and think, well, you're a baby. How can you tell me what to do with my money? So I really had to learn and develop and learn my skill, learn my craft, and deliver it in a way that, people that were much older than me would still respect what I had to say and pay for that. So yeah, that's how I kind of got to where I am today.
Perfect, man. So it shows that you definitely have a wealth of knowledge that you're going to be sharing with us today. So hopefully within this the time frame of this call, we can dissect a lot of the stuff that you've been through, like your experiences, who you've worked with, etc., and obviously help everyone with their queries as well.
Definitely.
So moving on from that, it would be great to just share what is it that exactly that you do. What is Noir Excel, and
Sure.
So why did you start it?
All right, excellent. So basically, financial advisor. So I basically help people manage their money, and then also then in the aim of that, plan and build wealth. So when we're talking about building wealth, we're talking about trying to not just make money, but make your money make you money, and then eventually you will then use those investments to live off, to allow you to stop having to work for money, and your money continue to work for you. And that's what we talk about when we get to obviously retirement and so forth. Noir Excel came from the fact that although I've been doing this financial advice for a long time, the majority of my clients didn't come from the community that I grew up in. They didn't look like me. They didn't have shared the same experience as me. And I really wanted to try and give back to people that had come from where I come from. So I started Noir Excel as a financial education company, because I felt that the difference between us and when I say us, I mean the Black community and maybe a lot of other communities out there, is education. And so for me, I find a lot of my clients were able to build wealth because their parents had already done financial planning, and they were just copying what their parents are doing. They didn't even know that it was financial planning. It was just the norm for them to do certain things, like when they had a child, save for that child, like open an investment ISA, like buy a house and then take equity out and buy another one. These things are normal because they've seen their parents and grandparents do that. Also, they're inheriting wealth as well from their grandparents and their parents and so forth. So because maybe a grandparent has died and left them money, they know to get life insurance. They've experienced the benefits of it. So no one needs to try and coax them into trying to get something like life insurance. These things are standard. And so for me, it was about creating a platform where I could educate people and show them the benefits of this stuff, because a lot of the time you don't know what you don't know. So if you've never been exposed to that, and you weren't taught it at school, and your parents had never experienced it, how do you get financially educated? How do you understand how to be better with money when no one around you knows how to be better with money, and you maybe can't afford to pay for the financial advice that you would need? Because the problem with financial advice is it's aimed at high net worth individuals. It's aimed at the rich. And so because of that, it means that there's low education when it comes to people without money. So yeah, that's why I started Noir Excel, and that's my mission, is to get more and more people better with money, planning their money and building wealth.
That's a beautiful why, bro. And I can definitely relate to that because I think that the first time I heard about equity, I think I left secondary school when I didn't know what equity was until I left secondary.
Yeah,
Um, so I could definitely see how that relates to the people that you're trying to reach. So thank you for even taking time to jump on the call. Thank you for doing what you're doing, bro.
no, thank you.
So yeah, so just moving on from that. So what I would say is that, as you know, so the 18 communities, we're known, most of us are like, we're entrepreneurs, so a lot of us are internet entrepreneurs, a lot of us have our own businesses, etc., or a lot of us
Sure.
are aspiring entrepreneurs, yeah. So the
Yeah,
question I have for you, just so we can make it targeted at the people that are on this call, is that
yeah,
as entrepreneurs, most of us only think, well, I definitely or mostly think about finances from a raising capital, generating revenue, or profit perspective. So
yeah.
one-sided thing can be detrimental to like a new entrepreneur, even an existing entrepreneur in any way.
Yeah, sure. Because I think also when you think of money, the same way you think of money for your business, you should plan and think of money the same for yourself as an individual.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you're gonna need to spend money. So, for example, you talk about the fact that for your business you want to raise capital. For your business, you want to reinvest in your business, and you have an aim to do that for growth. But also on a personal level, you want to live comfortable. You might not necessarily want to be rich or want to have millions or whatever. Some people do, and that's not a problem. But you want to be comfortable, and so to do that, you need to plan how am I going to use the resources that I get. So I work hard in my business. How do I use the resources that I get from my business to allow me to live a life that's comfortable? And so I think we were talking about it the other day. So a lot of the time, it's about delayed gratification. It's about actually saying, you know what, I might have to sacrifice some things now so that later on I can live a better life. Because what I find is a lot of people, enjoy their life and then or they're living, paycheck to paycheck. They're spending everything they get coming in each month. Is almost like a target. I get 2 grand. I've got to spend that 2 grand. Do you know what I mean? And then you get a new 2 grand the next month. But what happens is that if you live like that, when do you retire? How do you retire if you're living on all of your income? And so again, it's great that you've got a business and you want to plan for your business, but also you have to think, now that I'm planning for the finances for my business, how is my business going to allow me to then live comfortably as an individual? Because I don't want to have to work in my business. Also, if my business is only me, then how do I sell this business?
Okay.
So do you understand? Because if you are your business and you want to retire, then now you can never stop because you are your business. So you need to be able to split the two. Obviously, in the beginning, it's going to be all you, but you need to then get to a point where your finances from your business and your business can run by itself. And they say a true test of a business is when you can leave your business for 6 months and it still run and make profit without you.
Okay. I like the fact that you mentioned that, because one of the things that especially some of the earlier members of the A team, one of the things we used to discuss is the fact that we want to get to a place where we're working within our business, which is in the beginning, but still working on our businesses. So
Yes,
not doing the day-to-day stuff, not having
exactly.
to do with the admin, etc. So again, understanding where our finances and how to utilize or draw out finances for our personal selves in that business operation is obviously key to that. So thank you for sharing, man. And
No problem.
just following on from that, I'm sure this is something that I wanted to get. I asked this question when I first started. Is that so? From your experience, what are some of the biggest like personal finance mistakes newbie entrepreneurs make? Like from your experience.
I think the biggest mistake is pumping everything into their business. Do you know what I mean? And wanting to see the results straight away. And the problem with that is that when you pump everything into your business, a lot of the time you're learning as you're going on, especially when if you're starting something new. So you're making costly mistakes when you pump everything into your business. If you time it and put money into your business as you grow, as you get better, as you start bringing in income, you're matching how much you're then from the income that you're bringing in. You're saying, okay, a percentage of this income that I'm now bringing in, I'm going to reinvest. You see, that way you grow. And if you do make mistakes, you're not making mistakes on all your money. So it's about timing it. Also, I think a lot, not just entrepreneurs, but people in general, like we do stuff without planning. Like you wouldn't start your business, or I hope none of you will start your business without a business plan. Do you know what I mean? That's the first thing. Whenever you want to go and get capital, whenever you want to go and you want to get a loan from the bank or whatever, anything like that, the first thing they're going to do is say, what's your business plan? How is your business going to make money? How is it going to sustain? How much is it going to, do you see what I'm saying? These are the questions we ask when it comes to business. But when it comes to our personal, we don't. So we make money, but we don't say, okay, I get $2,000 a month. How much of that am I going to spend on food? How much of that am I going to be able to save? How much do I need to spend on travel? You don't plan your spending. And so because you don't plan it, you can just spend it. And that's how it can just go, because there's no limits on the things that you can spend your money on. The limit of spending your money is having no money left. And so when you live like that, that's when you end up not being able to save. That's when you end up not being able to build stuff to grow. So you can't, we wouldn't go to, like I always tell people about how much effort they put in their work or in their job. Because, we might be entrepreneurs, but we might still have to have a 9 to 5 while we're doing that. But yet with your 9 to 5, what time you have to be in. You know what meetings you're going to have. You know how much the products cost. You know who's in charge and what to do and the rules and regulation. But you don't know how much you're spending as an individual. And I always tell people we have to put more effort in ourselves than we do in our 9 to 5s. And so one of the biggest mistakes is the lack of a plan. I think then it goes on to, in regard to the fact that, we're not happy. So you're not happy that you're not making enough money. But what are you doing to increase your money? Like, yes, we're entrepreneurs and yes, we're trying to build a business, and that might take time. But what are you doing in the meantime while that happens? So you've got a job. Is there a course that you can take to increase your income? Because I always tell people when it comes to money, there's really only 2 things you can do. You can either decrease your outgoings or increase your income. That's how you increase the amount of money that you have disposable to you that allows you to then invest that money or save that money and so forth. But what we do is we can complain about stuff, especially when it comes to our finances. But what are we doing to change our finances? What are we doing to increase our value, increase how much people will pay for our time? And so that's another mistake that we make, is that, we kind of just sit down and say, oh, you know what, this job doesn't pay me enough. But we're not really doing stuff to say, how can I get the next job that will do while still doing my business? Do you know what I mean? Because our business can take time to develop.
So Emmanuel, are you trying to tell me that so instead of me I want to get a car and finance though, so are you trying to say that I can't do that, so I should use that money to invest in education? That what you're trying to tell me? Yeah,
it's a good point. You can definitely get a car and finance. Yeah. I never tell no one not to get a car and finance. But you see, the problem is it's not the car that you need to get on finance. It's the type of car you're going to get. You see, you might need a car, and yes, you might have to get that on finance. That's not a problem. But what's your budget saying? How much are you earning? So if you're earning £1,000 a month, you can't be getting a car on finance that's costing you £300, £400, £500. Even if you're earning 2,000, really, you shouldn't be spending that. Do you know what I mean? The problem is that we're gonna go we need a car to get us from A to B, but yet that car must cost X because of what we see on the television, or because of social media, or because we want to take pictures, or because we want to impress our friends. But that's money again, that money in that car, remember, that devaluing asset, the asset that you're getting finance on, that is going down every day, but you're now paying interest on it. So the amount that you're paying is more than the value of the car. Am I making sense? Okay. Does that make sense? So let's say we buy a car for 10K. We know that if we get finance on that, the finance is 14K, yeah? With the interest on top. But we know that by the time that finance finishes in 3, 4, 5 years, that car is going to be worth 3-4 grand. So we know we're putting our money in an asset that's not good for us.
Okay.
So because of that, it's one of those things. It's not about getting the finance. It's about, okay, can I humble myself and get a car that's reasonable within the budget of my income and live with that? And then once my income goes up, or once my lifestyle comes up, or once I've bought an asset, so whether that be a business, whether that be, I've got money in an investment portfolio, or whether that be a house, once I've got some assets, then I can then buy a depreciating asset that's losing me money but makes me feel good.
Okay.
But I've got something else to show for it. It's delayed gratification again. It's that, okay, I need a car, let me humble myself now and enjoy later.
Okay. So basically I should delay gratification before I start flexing. Is that what you're saying?
Of course. Why are you flexing? For who?
So you know how we are. We like to flex though. But I'm only playing with you.
I hear you.
All right, cool. So I'm just moving on from that then. So like you mentioned a few things. So I myself have gone through some of the process of delayed gratification, etc. And I've done things.
Yes.
it's very easier said than done to most people. Like, it takes probably a lot
Yes, no, I hear you.
for us to kind of get there. So what are some of the stuff that some of the habits that we've adopted? Again, you mentioned in the beginning how a lot of us that we've been learning from our parents and they learn from their perspective.
Exactly.
What are some of the stuff that we can do to like prevent just making the same mistakes? Like, because even sometimes we know we shouldn't be doing it, but we should still end up just doing this little mishap here of our finances, etc. So what in your experience is the best way for us to just prevent that from reoccurring in terms of that misusing our personal finances?
I think one of the biggest reasons for us misusing our personal finances is keeping up with the Joneses. And when I say that, what I mean, it's not like back in the day when they say keeping up with the Joneses, they're talking about looking at your neighbor and whatever. Right now, it's social media. You see the pressure of you're going to see your friends with some nice cars or going to the club, popping bottles and that pressure for you seeing that all the time. And then you feeling like, this is how I show people I've made it, or this is how I prove my worth. That pressure will make you spend money that you don't need to spend to prove points that actually don't need to be proved. Do you know what I mean? Like, because when you make it, your success will talk for you. You won't need to prove any points. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, a lot of the time we look at rappers and so forth and that, but they don't need us to prove their point. They're doing what they're doing. Do you know what I mean? But what they have to do is show us a lifestyle. You see, in my industry, we call it fake it till you make it. A lot of the time, you're gonna see these guys. They're gonna have nice cars, chains, all of that. It's all rented. But you see, for you, a lot of the time, for us to buy into the lifestyle they're trying to sell to us, they have to present it to us. And so we're now chasing something that they don't even have. And so it causes you to now not be happy with, like I said, driving a normal car or like going on a normal holiday. You know what I mean? Like back in the day, just go Ibiza, go, Greece. Look, now we got to go to Dubai. We got to go, do you know what I mean? We got to blow big dough. Miami is normal. But we're on normal salaries going to Miami. Do you see what I'm saying?
That makes sense.
We're going to LA. Do you know how expensive LA is? Like, we're doing that, but just so we can say we're here. But listen, you are who you are. And when we start to really value ourselves on just being us and be comfortable with who we are, you'll see that you'll have a lot more money left over to do the things that you want to do. But as long as and so that's why I tell one of my pieces of advice is be careful what you follow. Do you know what I mean? Because you're allowing that to be put into your mind all the time. Like, there's so much different things on social media that you can follow and inspire and whatever. Be careful what you put into your system and what you see regularly.
Okay, cool. So let's switch things up a little bit now. So we talked about some of the stuff that we need to be wary of from our own, like some of the social pressures out there, etc. But let's flip it up. Now, let's talk about some of your experience so far, like in the wealth management world. So, as a financial advisor and wealth manager, you probably have come across loads of clients who are financially abundant. Are you able to share some financial principles with us by any chance?
Yes, sure. So I mean, and it's a mixture because some of them is from business. So one thing I would say is that a lot of the time, especially in the UK, we have this big pride in owning a property. And so we kill ourselves to buy a property. But I found that a lot of people that are, quite successful, like their first focus wasn't to buy a property. Their focus was to create a business. And that business now allows them to buy properties every year. Do you see what I'm saying? And so I think sometimes we have to look at what we're good at. For some people, property is their actual business, which is a totally different, totally different way to look at it. Because then they're buying property to make money. But a lot of us are wanting to buy a house for us to live in. And we're buying that house at 300, 400, 500K. When really we should try and buy it cheaper because actually we're living in it and it's not making us money that much while we're living in it. So why do you want to sit in such an asset? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And so that's one of them, is just, looking at focusing, not being driven just to buy a house to live in, but look at what else we can do with our money, especially going into business. I think another when I look at some of these rich clients, it is, unfortunately, they are lucky in regards to the fact that they've inherited a lot. Do you know what I mean? A lot of it is second, third, fourth generation wealth. So because of that, it's hard to compete. Like, it's hard for us to compete with people who are literally being handed down, a mill, bam, just like that. Do you know what I mean? It's difficult for us to compete, but it's something that we can create and then pass down to our children. Do you know what I mean? I think also, it's about splitting it up. So diversification. A lot of people will put some money in property, some in business, some in a share portfolio and build up shares that way. Do you know what I mean? So you've got money in different areas. So if at one time property is down, then your investment portfolio might be up. Do you know what I mean? So that's how you can balance your wealth. Do you see what I'm saying? If you have issues with business, then you can live off the income from your property or from your investment portfolio. Do you know what I mean? And vice versa. So it's about splitting our assets into different areas and not trying to put everything all in one, because again, you can get caught out that way. I think another thing is starting early. So we need to start saving as early as possible, and not just saving for saving's sake, but saving with a goal of, okay, once I save X, I can now invest that in a property, or I can invest that in a business, or I can use that money to make me money in whatever way that may be. So I think those are quite a few tips there.
Oh, thank you for sharing that, man. So just kind of like just going back on what you said. So one of the things you mentioned is that a lot of them started off with business first. So they made it their mission.
Yes.
You know, to put a asset that generates revenue, that generates wealth, etc.
Yes.
And they use that
Yes.
to invest in other appreciable assets. That you're saying, yeah?
Yes. That's correct.
Cool. So, everyone in this call that's a business owner or aspiring business owner, you know that you're in the right place. I hope you guys flourish in what you guys are doing. And at this point, I just want to remind you guys as well that yes, you are muted, but any questions that you have, and I'm sure you will have, please save it. You can ask them at the end. I'll mute you if you want to. Just give me a wave or a signal. I'll do put it in a chat. I'll ask Emmanuel for you as well. If you guys are too scared to talk, etc. Okay, so let's moving on with the questions. So those who know me personally, I think there's a few people that know this. I'm very on an offense base. I personally believe that, you know what, I'm going to get money, because there's no point if you are coming from a perspective where you haven't got money. What are you trying to save? Or if you are in a position where you are in a 9-to-5, etc., and it's just making you get by. I'm very offense based. I'm thinking, you know what, how can I get money? What can I invest in? What can I capitalize on? So the question I have for you is that what do you lean more towards? Is it the strong offense, whereas get money, or the strong defense, whereas save and protect money? And is there a scenario where both can be done simultaneously with great effectiveness?
Good question. I think that's different stages in the life cycle. So I think that you will find that, when you're younger, you're more on the offense and trying to create money. That has to be your focus.
Okay.
And obviously you find that older people tend to be more on the defense. They've created this money, now they want to save it and make it, live off it. So they're more focused on preserving their assets at that later stage. And then kind of in the middle is where you've got the mixture of both, where you still want to make money because you haven't made enough, but at the same time you're putting money away because you need to preserve that for your retirement. So I think it's more to do with where the stages of life that you're at. And some people obviously can get there quicker. If you make money, if you're a millionaire by the time you're, 25, then maybe your now focus is on keeping that money. Do you know what I mean? As opposed to continuing to try and make your millions and millions. So I think it's kind of an age and life cycle thing when it comes to financial planning. In regards to doing both, I think we have to think about both. So as much as you're trying to focus, I think, yes, when you're trying to focus in your business and so forth, yes, the majority of your money is going to go towards your business, or go towards saving for that property, or go towards, do you know what I mean, the things that you need at that time. I think what we then need to do, though, is still remember that, one day we're going to retire. So always try what we call pay yourself. Do you know what I mean? I think if you read books like, Richest Man in Babylon, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, they'll always talk about, paying yourself. So even if it's 10%, try and put something away for yourself. Do you know what I mean? Whether that's for a pension, or whether that's for in an investment, or whether that's just saving, always try and pay yourself. At the end of the day, you've worked hard a whole month for this money. You should be able to put, even when you're hustling and pumping money in your business or whatever, you should be able to put 10% away for yourself and then manage the 90%. Do you know what I mean?
Okay, that makes sense. On that point, I just want to again plug the a book club. So if you guys like to sign up some of those books that you just mentioned, and then look at the chat, and you can obviously opt into a book club where we share all of that stuff and many more about mindset, business, and money. A quick plug, but yeah, we continue. All right, cool. Another question I have for you is that okay? So what does every entrepreneur need to ensure they optimize for wealth? So the title of this course, obviously, how to optimize existing finances for wealth. So if, from your experience just working with clients, clients that are just starting out in their wealth generating or wealth building mode, or clients that are just, let's say they've accelerated quite well in it. So from your experience, what does every entrepreneur need, or every individual need, to ensure that they can optimize towards wealth?
It's a great question. But I think the first thing, it all comes down to mindset. I always tell people, like, even like my seminar on Saturday, the first thing I start with my seminar on Saturday is telling people, as much as I'm about to teach you how to save, how to build wealth, how to invest, and how to buy a property and all of that stuff there, that's all great. But it means nothing if you don't have the right mindset. It all starts with your mindset. And so when you're talking about people who are ready to generate wealth and optimize wealth, they have a mindset of wealth. So what that means is that you're ready to make the sacrifices that you need to build wealth. You're ready to say, actually, I as much as I want these small things, my bigger one is wealth. My bigger one is to, I don't know, make my business £1 million business, or my bigger wealth is to buy that house, or my bigger wealth is to own property abroad or invest in businesses. And because you want the bigger goals, you will now say that Gucci belt or that Louis Vuitton shoe, as much as I want it, it's a smaller one to the bigger one. So I'm willing to sacrifice that for my bigger one. Do you know what I mean? And so it all starts with the mindset. And if you've got a mindset to build wealth, that is the first thing that you must have. I think then it's the ability to hustle. So a lot of us, you might not, your first job that your main job might just about give you enough money to pay your bills. So it means that you don't need a side hustle. Now, that side hustle might be investing, that side hustle might be buying and selling property, that side hustle might be your business that you're creating now. Whatever that may be, you're going to need another source of income. I always tell people the average millionaire has 7 different streams of income. So why the rich have 7 streams of income, and then yet we're here trying to live our best life off one income? Do you see what I'm saying? Like, it's the mindset is completely wrong. So we have to look at how do we create these other streams of income. And then when we create these other streams of income, we have to make sure that we're using that other stream to build wealth. The problem is that we get a side hustle and we use our side hustle to now live a better life. Do you see what I'm saying? Like now, as in, now all of a sudden we can eat out at these posh restaurants in Mayfair and all of that. Do you know what I mean? We can go to the Shard and Oxo Tower, and do you know what I mean? All of that stuff there, and then all of a sudden, we can buy clothes more regularly, and we're going out to fancy clubs, and we can buy out the bar. Do you know what I mean? But actually, that's not what your side hustle was for. Your side hustle was for to either invest back into your business or start saving towards a property or investment portfolio. Do you know what I mean? So it's about, okay, we need these additional incomes, but then make sure we're using them in the correct way. And then obviously on top of that, once we start building it, we start making our money make us money. So what that looks like is you buy your first house, you maybe put 5% deposit, but a lot of people, for example, you might be living at home. So if you're living at home, you buy your first house, instead of living in that house, you rent that house out, and now that house is making you income. Then in a years' time, hopefully the value of that house has gone up. You now take equity out of that house and use that equity to buy you another house. Or maybe you need to add money because obviously you only got 5% down. So maybe you need to add a bit to it, but you use some of the equity, some of your savings, you buy your second house. Now you've got 2 incomes coming in. Then again, you start when those incomes come in, then you might say, oh, I'll use those incomes to invest in a business, or I'll use those incomes to invest in an investment portfolio. And then my investment portfolio starts making money, and that starts generating an income. Do you see what I'm saying? Yeah. So all of a sudden, you're making new income from the income that you have coming in.
Okay. So guys, please, if you guys are enjoying this so far, if you could you just like write in the chat to say yes or a thumbs up, whatever. If you guys are taking a lot from it, because I feel like he's sharing a lot of gems for us, guys. So if you are enjoying it, just give us some sort of indication that yes, that what he's talking about is resonating with you guys. So put that in the chat, please. I'll just read out some comments. Cool, lovely. Everyone's saying good. Perfect, serious stuff. More of Emmanuel, please. Emmanuel, you got some fans there, so that's really cool. Really good from Steph.
That's good.
Very good from Callum. So yeah, this is it's showing that we're onto something here. So guys, I'm gonna have a very big open Q&A. I got one last question for Emmanuel. So do you offer any online coaching, any training for those interested in improving their financial for personal finances by any chance?
Yeah, sure. Yes, we yes we do. So we have different packages going from bronze to platinum, and depending on where you're at, we have just a basic telephone call if maybe you just want some quick advice on something very simple. Then we have one-to-ones, and then we have a mentorship program as well, that can help you with your finances. And you're joined in a group, and it's a 6-month course, and you do it and so forth, and learn how to be better when it comes to budgeting, how to save, how to create an investment portfolio, how to buy property, how to create a savings plan. We'll help you create a savings plan if you want to buy property. That's what you want to do. And the great thing about us that makes us a bit different is because I'm a qualified financial advisor, when you get to the point of wanting to get a property, we can do your mortgage for you. When you want to set up a pension portfolio, we can set it up for you. So we're not going to send you to somewhere else. We can do that. We're qualified. I'm qualified in what I do. It's what I do and have been doing. So it's one of those things that we're setting you up with. I'm basically creating my financial advice clients, but I'm taking them from the beginning. And that's something that, in financial advice, they don't really do. They want you ready-made before they'll deal with you. But we'll take you as you are and help you take the steps to then become what you want to be.
Definitely. And as well as that, for guys, everyone that's on the A team, we're definitely going to be collabing with Emmanuel and Noir Excel in the near future as well. So look out for that. We'll be sure to share that information with you. At this point, I want to open up the live Q&A to everyone. So if you guys do want to jump on and you want to have a question for Emmanuel, then please just let me know. Just wave, etc., and I'll do that. I'll read out the first question from Callum. So Callum asks, how much investment funds does the typical person you deal with have when starting to use your service?
Good question. So normally, when I start, like before I went self-employed in my last companies, it's always been, minimum was 100 grand, but most clients we need an average of £250,000. But what I'm doing in the Noir Excel is that you can start from £100. Do you know what I mean? £100 a month. And we'll teach you how to set up your first investment portfolio and start saving from there. Or if you want to buy a house, we'll help you in a savings account with a budget plan and so forth. So for me, all you need to do is have disposable income. As long as you've got money left over each month, we'll help you make sure that you're putting that in the right place and start building to what you want to achieve.
Okay, perfect. So guys, feel free to flood your questions and please don't lose this opportunity. The reason for the Q&A, I've given you guys a larger time for Q&A because I'm just from the feedback I've been getting, people have asked for more extended Q&A time. So if you do have any questions, now is a perfect time to ask. So yeah, let me know if you want me to unmute you, and write in the chat if you have any questions. In the meantime, Emmanuel, feel free to kind of give us some more information about okay, we got another question here. 1 second. So how can you begin to create wealth without any disposable income? Wow.
Yeah, so exactly. And this goes back to my point. So if you don't have disposable income, your thing about creating wealth, you've got to create disposable income, which means that you now need to get yourself either a side hustle or you need to do something to create other income that you can now invest. It's impossible to build wealth with no money. Do you know what I mean? You have to invest, you have to build, you have to make money. So this is what I say is that what are we doing in our full time? Sometimes I've got clients that, their full-time job is so much that they can't even think of they can't do anything else.
Yeah.
Because they start so early, they finish so late. All they can do is their job. And I told them, listen, how much is your life? How much do you have left over after doing it? Maybe they've got, £200, £300. So I'm telling you, you're giving your whole life to a company, just tiring you out. You're still working on the weekends, everything. And at the end of the month, after you've paid all your bills and everything like that, paid your travel, all that, you've got £300. Now you need to change what you're doing. Do you know what I mean? So again, it's about really evaluating what do you want to do, because at the end of the day, you've only got one life, and time is ticking all the time. So your most precious asset is your time, and so all work is doing is buying your time. They're paying for your time, and so you have to value that time. And if they're paying you and they're taking all your time, but you don't have the money left over, or they're paying you but you then don't have enough time for you to make other money, then you need to reevaluate how you're living your life and how you're making your money. Because at the end of the day, if we're going to work, let's be honest, if we're going to work, we should be working and making money and having money left over.
Yeah.
If we're not, then we need to really challenge, why are we going to this place?
True. I hope that answers your question, Sam. I'm just adding on to that. You mentioned in the beginning, I remember, just to add my 2 pence from what you said. If we haven't got disposable income, we have to probably take away some stuff that we're spending money on that's not necessary as well.
Yeah.
So defense, and if we're spending on stuff that we don't need to spend, then just that delayed gratification might cut stuff off as well.
Exactly.
Okay, Stephanie has another question. So she says, how much realistically, percentage-wise, would you advise someone to invest in their side hustle each month?
Okay, this is a good question. So when we say percentage, are we talking percentage of time? Yeah, is that it? As in, or a percentage of their income?
I'll ask Steph. Steph, do you want to unmute yourself and talk, or you can write in the chat as well? Just let me know, and I can unmute you if you want me to talk, or just let me know.
I think she said both. I think she said both. Okay, so I would say, for me, I can only talk from my point of view, because obviously this is what I've done. I had to do Noir Excel whilst doing it, and I use my evenings and weekends to do Noir Excel. So when I'm talking evenings, so I'm getting home about 6:37, and then I'm working in the evening till late, and then I'm working on weekends as well, going to give talks and seminars and meet one-to-ones with clients and so forth. So I think it all depends on your lifestyle and what you want to do and how you're going to balance around it. But I would definitely say, in regards to money, I think, again, it's about how much you can afford, but also how much you're leaving to yourself. So if you're paying yourself your 10%, and then you're living off, let's say all your outgoings and travel and all of that is like, I don't know, 70%, and that leaves you with 30%, and then you're using 10% to yourself, then you've got 20%, let's say, to invest towards your side hustle. That sounds reasonable to me. Do you see what I'm saying? It's really important that you try to make sure you're still paying yourself separate. Even if you're putting money into your business, try to pay yourself 10% to yourself. I know sometimes it's hard. It might be 5% some months or whatever, but definitely try to pay yourself every month for your future, for other things other than just your work, your lifestyle, and your side hustle.
Okay. Thank you for that. I hope that answered your question. She says thank you. So with an explanation mark, so that's definitely a good sign. Sorry. I'll unmute you. If you want me to unmute you next time, guys, just let me know, and I'll unmute you myself, and I'll do that for you. So Callum has another question. It says, do you have any book/content recommendations that you found helpful on your journey?
I mean, I have so many that it's difficult, but definitely the main two that really helped me when I was younger was Rich Dad Poor Dad. That really helped me. And then it was Richest Man in Babylon, which kind of teaches you the principles of budgeting and, like I said, paying yourself. And then we have Think and Grow Rich. That's a really good one as well. Key People of Influence by David Priestley. That's a good one as well. We also, what else is there? You know, we've got Tony Robbins, and there's so many books out there that can help. Who Moved My Cheese? Like, that's a good one as well. Yeah, so there's some good books out there that to do with motivation, to do with sales, to do with because a lot of the time, you know, in business, it's not just about having a great idea. It's about being able to explain your ideas, be able to be relatable, be able for people to understand what you're trying to sell, and be able to talk to people and them to buy into you as an individual, especially if you're selling a service. So I'm selling a service. So for me, it's great having the knowledge, but if I'm not personable, if I'm not believable, if I'm not able to relate to people and people to really understand that I've got a heart for them and I want their best interest when I'm making these recommendations, then it's pointless, the knowledge. Do you see what I'm saying? So you can't just, be solely focused on having your business. You have to build your other skills as well.
Okay. Sam recommends as well the 4-hour work week.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I personally recommend as well how to win friends and influence people, especially going off your point, Emmanuel, just now about building those relationships, etc. So definitely, guys, as well as that, guys, join a book club. We have all of these books in abundance. If you guys are ready for that, by all means, check the chat and you'll get that straight to your inbox every single month. Okay, Mark has a question. He says, what would be the first investment you make or that you advise someone to make with their first £100 of disposable monthly income?
Great question. That has to go towards your goal. What are you trying to achieve? So if you're telling me that the number one thing you want to do is buy a property, then but then again, I don't know if this makes sense. If you need to raise, I don't know, £10,000, then, and you've only got £100 a month, even though we want to save £10,000, saving £100 a month towards it's going to take forever. So maybe that £100 has to go in a share portfolio, and hope that share portfolio can grow, make the money grow quicker. Do you understand? But also, it might say you might use it to invest in some equipment that you can now use to make you money for a business. Does that make sense? So it's all dependent on what your goal is. And that's the thing with being a financial advisor. I always compare it to being a doctor. Like, just because me and Ty got similar illnesses doesn't mean that we can take the same medicine. Do you see what I'm saying? Because the side effects of medicine to me might be different to you. So we have to look at each person individually and create a plan for you based on what you're trying to achieve at the pace you're trying to achieve it. Because actually, if you say, I want to buy a house in 5 years' time and I've got £100 a month, might not be enough, but at least you might not need to go as far. So you might not go to a share portfolio. You might just try and look at high interest accounts, or you might look at bonds. Do you see what I'm saying? If you want to do it in 2 years' time, then you're definitely going to have to take a lot more risk if you want to try and get that goal. So it all depends on what you're trying to achieve, how quickly you're trying to achieve it, and how much disposable income or how much savings you have towards your goal.
Okay, perfect. I hope that answered your question, Mark, etc. What time? I think we're very, very good for time. So at this point, what I would love, everyone, if you have a question, feel free to ask. Why? I just want Emmanuel to explain some of the stuff about Saturday, what's going to be going on. So feel free to just fire away about what's happening on Saturday. And you guys, make sure you stay to the end, guys, because I do have a discount code for you guys if you guys want to attend on Saturday. So Emmanuel, shoot away with the details.
Yeah. So thank you. So Saturday is a financial education seminar. So similar to the stuff that we're talking here, but basically it's mainly on personal finance. So we start off looking at budgeting, looking at debt management, looking at credit, how to build your credit, which again for business is important. You need to, if you want to build business, a lot of people, I'm sure when you read people's autobiographies, their business have been built off credit, off being able to borrow from the bank. So again, you need to make sure your credit's good so that when you want to leverage, you can. Leverage is a very, very powerful tool. A lot of us don't have rich parents that can, be a Donald Trump and give us a small loan of £1 million. So because of that, we have to use the banks and leverage of what they can give us. So having good credit is really important when it comes to that. So looking at credit. Then we'll go on to looking at savings, the way building up an emergency fund, how to save. Then we look at investing. I teach you, the different types of investment, the different asset classes. I show you some portfolios, how they worked, how they've performed, why people invest in shares and equities and stuff like that. Then we go on to property. So I'll teach you about, the savings and the beginning part is going to be done by Bola Sol. So I don't know if any of you have heard of Bola Sol. She does similar to what I do in regards, but she's very much more on the savings, budgeting and credit side of things. So she's going to take that first part. Then I'm going to come in on the investments, mortgages. So how to get a mortgage, should I do help to buy? Should I use shared ownership? All of these different schemes, help to buy ISA, LISA, all of this stuff I explain in the seminar. Then we then go on to pensions, how pensions work, the reason for pensions, why they're good, how you can utilize them. We go on to wills, the importance of a will. We talk about life insurance, why life insurance is important. Because a lot of people don't know. A lot of the people that are, not a lot, but there are quite a few people who were poor, and due to their parents having life insurance, it's enabled them to become middle class and even become rich. So life insurance is one of them things that, especially in our community, is kind of something that we don't really believe in. A lot of people think, oh, either it won't pay out, or if I take it, I might die for whatever reason. There's this kind of old myth. So we look at life insurance, how it works, and why it's important. We then go on to also look at wills, the importance of having wills, because it's all good talking about building wealth, but how do you protect that wealth? How do you ensure that that wealth is passed down to the right people? So we explain wills, and then inheritance tax. So again, if you don't understand how inheritance tax works, you might build all this wealth, and then the government are going to come and take 40% when you die. So again, these are the important things that we try to teach people, and that's basically what the seminar will be about.
Okay, perfect, man. Thank you for sharing that, man. So I think that
No problem.
I see here that there's no more questions. So what I'll do now, guys, please, Sam, he's going to share right now in this chat a feedback link. It's literally 30 seconds. It will be a few questions. You guys just need to go and just click the link and then give some feedback. If you guys have done it before, then do it again, please. It literally helps me and the team organize how we can make things better. From the last feedback, one of the things we heard last week is that we need some intro music for this day. So today I put some intro music for you guys. So everything that you can do just to add and just give your feedback will help. So please do that. So share, click the link, please. As well as that, Noir Excel upcoming seminar, as you can see in the chat as well. Sam will share the link to that as well, so you guys can click it. And if you guys want a discount code of £15 off the ticket price, use the discount code 1815, £15 off. So you guys, thank you, Emmanuel, for giving that to the 18 members. I'm sure that everyone will be appreciative if you want to attend. And yeah, so as well as that, guys, so I think we're going to round it up. So forgive me, click the wrong button. So guys, you guys should know the A team stands for active. That's active commitment today inspires victory every day. And of course, we affirm, we commit, we test, we iterate, we validate, we execute to make our visions a reality. You guys, if you guys enjoy this call, then invite a friend. Don't be selfish. We know that for the last, let's say, 3 months, we've been sharing a lot of value back to back. So if you feel like this calls are adding value to you, then ensure that you guys send your friends the opt-in link so they can get involved and just join in as well. So Emmanuel, thank you very much for joining the call. I'm sure everyone is mad appreciative.